Hi, everybody. This is William Becker with Paranormal Insights, and I want to welcome you all to my February 2023 newsletter. I'm doing a video this time instead of writing because I've had a few ideas tumbling around in my head for a while, and that's my normal process with things. They kind of fly all over into their own life, so to speak, and then start gelling into something that's a little bit cohesive, and then I can put it out. And I thought since I'm looking at a couple different areas that are related but not in a sense that the video would be a little bit easier than trying to write about it or write two separate articles, something like that. So anyway, bear with me. And I'll try not to make this too long either. The first piece I want to talk about is the renewal that seems to be so much of the time of year we've just gone through. From mid December through mid January or so, uh, the two of the three major monotheistic religions have celebrations concerning light, where light is coming back into the world. Hanukkah, Christmas, um, and the pagan religions, the non deist religions, those all have a version of that as well. And so much of it is a light coming back that shows that, life is going to continue. The earth is being renewed, the warmth is coming back, we're not going to freeze to death, and the crops are coming, so we're not going to starve. That's where so much of this is based from. The monotheistic religions turn this into a little different focus. Hanukkah, it's the light and the miracle of the lamps keeping their light burning. Christmas, it's um, the Son of God coming back into the birth, bringing light into the world. So it's a little different focus, but it's based off of the same thing. And to me, it's very much a same focus. But I'm not a big believer in New Year's resolutions. What people do is fine. It doesn't matter to me, but I don't do them. But I do find just naturally this period of the year is one of more introspection for me, and one where I'm more aware or observe more of my reactions to what's going on around me and to other people, all kinds of things. And then that gives me a chance to really look at myself a little bit more and areas that could use work or that I'm working on or whatever. It's not a self beat up period, but I think it's a period that a lot of people feel this need to make changes or to at least re-examine ourselves a little bit. And for me, a lot of this is going back to a very cliche phrase of we mirror we're mirrored in other people. Things we don't like in other people are basically things we don't maybe like in ourselves or characteristics we have. And so that's part of what I look at with this. And part of how this works for me too is January and February are mark the anniversaries of both of my parents passing. And so I have a little bit longer period of processing this than a lot of people might. And the the idea of looking, it helps us to see, okay, this person, I'm reacting this way to this person's behavior, or this company's behavior, or whatever it is. How does that reflect into me? And often I find that if I'm being little bit more negative or reacting one way, it's me telling myself that there's still more work for me to do on an area, or it's often too something that I've done a lot of work on and I'm doing better. And I'm not saying that what we're responding to with the other person is appropriate behavior on their part. I'm talking about our reactions to it and how it triggers and how we respond then to somebody else. In my case, how I respond to somebody else. And so these things then give me a chance to not beat myself up or anything, but do a little bit more inquiry into myself and just helping myself to grow into that whole, complete, mature person, my own telos that we're all here to be. And again, it's part of that becoming our true self. And that's what I think basically our soul's journey and our time on earth in our each incarnation is really all about. It's about developing into our own complete, unique individual. And everybody has got their own uniqueness, their own telos that they're going to follow in. I think it was Plato that's, talked about the acorn, and each one is a separate oak tree. Well, I think this is all part of our own process of becoming our own each individual separate oak tree. I hope that makes some sense. And along with that, though, I'm looking more with the earthquakes that just went on in Turkey and Syria and the horrific loss of life. As of today, it's over 42,000 people in the two countries. Plus, we have the wars going on in Ukraine. We've got the continuing bloodshed going on in sub Saharan Africa, not to mention other things in other parts of the world. And I think as we're examining ourselves and the world around us, we can also then be picking up on the cries of anguish from other people and also looking at how we respond. Are we responding more um, with more sorrow or more empathy for one group of people than another? How come? We have a tendency often to feel more empathy for people who are like us than people who look a little different, live a different lifestyle, have a different religion or something like that. In this country and throughout all my travels, I think there's a little bit of natural bias that way. And I think as we examine all this, then it helps us to realize, oh, wait a minute, that's right. Everybody is connected, everybody is equal. These people need as much support as these people. And part of it's hard because the tragedies and the natural disasters, the wars keep happening. So it seems like we're bombarded by new events and new horrors to the populations of different parts of the country all the time. I mean, different parts of the world all the time. And so it's easy to get a little immune to that and block it out. But I think as we're examining ourselves, we can look at this a little bit more because the anguish and the cries, what the people are going through in Bangladesh and the people in southeastern Turkey and the people in northern Syria and the people in Donbass and Kiev and the people in Nigeria or Libya or in Colombia, it works together. It creates an energy that permeates the globe to a degree, and the um, the energy of the living, in a sense, the life force of the globe, and the life force of. I don't think it's just humanity. I think it can also affect uh, the plants, nature in general, and possibly even beings that are non-human, as in, oh, the Fae or whatever it is you want to talk about. And so with this, I think what we need to do, perhaps, or to consider, is not to um, blame ourselves for not being able to do more for everybody and all of that. We're individuals, we can only do so much. But I think part of what we could look at through this is remembering the connectedness and remembering how we respond and how our thoughts, how our words, how our actions help create an energy that combines with the force of the planet as a whole, the living force of living beings. And I think that's different than the electromagnetic fields. It's more of a life force and how that life force works, and it if it affects everybody, especially those that tune in. But even those who aren't normally tuning into the metaphysical part of reality, I think it still affects people just because they can detect the edginess, or they can detect the calm, or they can detect whatever it is in the around them, in the feel of life around them. It's the same kind of thing when you walk into a room and you feel a heaviness because of anger or sadness or whatever, or joy and laughter. Um, the people there, the emotions of the people there, create an energy that you may not see, but you can feel. And what's going on in the world now is doing that on universal, well, not universal, it's global, a global level. And so I think it's a reminder for us to look at our participation in our own development, our own spiritual development, soul development, and also in our own reactions and ability to interact with people, to understand other people, um, and to listen to other people and other ideas. It doesn't mean you have to agree, but it can change the perspective from which we approach things. But it doesn't mean we say bad behavior is okay or excuse things that shouldn't be excused, but it means that we can look at it differently and without the same kind of judgment, I think. Um, it's difficult for me to really explain this because on one hand, I'm saying there isn't any right or wrong to a degree. It's variations, but on the other hand, yes, there are some rights and wrongs. So it's something for each of us to sit with and allow it to come through. It's a good meditation exercise, actually. Something to ponder our own place, our own soul development, our place in the interaction of the energy of the world, our place or how we emphasize um, with people who aren't us, um, or live in different places, whatever it is they're going through. Uh, the whole package like that. And I'm interested if anybody has some questions or comments or ideas like me to take further with this, or if I'm being as clear as mud here. William at paranormalinsights.net is my email address, and feel free to drop me a line constructively. If you don't hear back from me in a day or two write again. System has changed and it's weird, and I don't always figure it out right. But on that note, just want to send a loving light out to the world, and some peace and joy to the world and the people in it, and help see what we can all do to help lift up the spirits of the world, so to speak. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.